Hello, today I am sharing with you a step-by-step guide on how to make an amazing cherry pie. Look at how packed it is with cherries. So to start off, we'll start with fresh cherries. I've washed them and now they are ready to pit. I'll be using this cherry pita. If you need it, I have a link on the description box. You can get it from Amazon. It's only $6, I believe. Go ahead and pit your cherries. It's gonna take some time, so you could sit down and just pit them all until you're done. And then the next step is going to be to slice your cherries into halves. When you're slicing your cherries, you have to be careful to also check in case there is any cherry that still has its pit, and that rock could break your teeth. So just make sure to slice each one individually so that you check. Once you've sliced all of them, now they're ready to cook. Place them in a deep pot, and then you're gonna add half a cup of sugar, half a teaspoon of salt. I like to add a little bit of salt just to round off those flavors, but you can skip salt if you don't want to add it. Just cook the cherries until they begin to release their juice. And it's gonna be very quick. And then add the juice of 1 lemon. It's gonna add that tartness to the cherries. These are red tart cherries, but I still add lemon juice because I want them to be extra sour. So sweet and sour is really, I love that flavor. So continue cooking the cherries until they almost like cooked through, and they're going to release a lot of their juice, and that's okay. But that's why you're going to add a thickener. I'm using cornstarch. I have all the measurements in the description box, so please do check them out. But it's about 2 tablespoons of cornstarch with maybe an eighth a cup of water. Mix it in, and as you can see, it's thickened now. So you're also going to add some butter, 2 tablespoons of butter. The butter is going to add flavor, and it's also going to loosen up the gumminess of the cornstarch. So it's just perfect to add butter to your cherry pie filling. And now the filling is ready. We're going to let it cool down fully before we can add it to the pie. Yeah, just let it cool fully. You can't add it while it's hot. Yeah, so I'll be using this pie crust, which I made at home. This is a quick glimpse of how I made it. So all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, and a little bit of baking powder, which is the secret ingredients for a flaky and soft pie. Then I added butter, some cold water, and you're gonna prepare your pie crust and place it in the fridge for 30 minutes to 1 hour. Please do check out the full recipe if you need to. It's linked right here in this video. Now after your pie crust is cooled down enough, go ahead and roll it out. So remember, you have the lower crust and the bottom crust and the top one. So I'm starting with the bottom one, just rolling it out until it's really thin. You want to do this when the pie crust is a little bit cold, because if it's too warm, it's going to be too soft because of the butter. Keep it well dusted with flour so that it's not sticky. Now you're going to roll it up on the rolling pin, and then you're going to lay it out on your pie dish. I'm using a small pie dish this time. I didn't want to make a huge pie. So go ahead and nudge your pie dough onto the dish nicely. Don't stretch it, don't break it. And then you can trim off the excess before you pour the cherries into the pie dish. Now I'm adding this delicious looking cherries, cherry pie, cherry filling into the pie. And I placed it in the fridge as I was rolling out this one, just because I didn't want it to get too soft, but you can leave it on room temperature. That's okay, as long as you do everything pretty quickly. Here I'm using my pizza cutter to just slice the lettuce, and then I'm going to create that beautiful layer on top for this pie. But of course, you could also make a full cover pie, but this is for the lattice cover. So go ahead. Now we're going to go on to the fun part of creating the lattice. You're just going to use your longest pieces in the middle, and then the shorter ones on the sides. Now go ahead and lift the alternating sides and lay on the other pieces of lattice, and keep doing so until all your pie is neatly covered. The same thing with the other side. Of course, you're going to alternate and keep lifting and laying them down. And don't worry about the smudges from the cherry filling. That's okay. As you can see, it disappears once you lay down your lattice nicely. Then go ahead and trim off any more excess pieces of dough. And then you're going to fold the edges to create that beautiful seal, and also the edge of the pie. So I just folded this in, and then I used a fork to crimp the edges. So just press with a fork. You can be free to do whatever you want to do here. You could crimp it with your fingers, the traditional way, or you could use any other method. As long as you've sealed the edges and they have a nice look to them, that's all that matters. The next step is to apply egg wash. You can't bake your pie without egg wash because it's not gonna brown nicely, have that signature golden look. So go ahead and beat one egg with 2 tablespoons of milk, and then apply that with a brush onto your pie. Have the links for my tools, the tools that I'm using in this recipe as well in the description box. For example, if you want this brush, you can go ahead and buy it from Amazon. So go ahead and apply the egg wash really nicely all to every inch of exposed dough, because if you apply it haphazardly, it's gonna come out looking not so good, when it comes out of the oven. So make sure every inch of exposed dough is covered with egg wash. But do not overuse egg wash either, because then it's gonna excessively brown. Now sprinkle some sugar. I'm using granulated sugar, but you could also use the coarse sugar and it would be okay. The pie is ready to go into the oven. Go ahead and bake your pie. Oh, and also before I show you the results, please do check out my books on Amazon, and hopefully you can grab a copy. Now our pie is ready, and we are gonna let it cool fully, but look at how brown, it looks beautifully brown. Now it has fully cooled down, so I'm gonna go ahead and slice the pie. Just make sure you slice it nicely, and then pulling out the first piece is usually a struggle, just being honest. But the other pieces, it becomes easier and easier. Yeah, so my piece didn't come out so, too cute, but it's still good looking. And yeah, the pie is super delicious. The filling was already fully cooked, so the crust is well cooked and browned here too. And just like that, you have your pie. Enjoy, and I hope to see you in another video. Bye bye.